Today I am going to issue you a permission slip to just not do that thing, whatever it is. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Wellness Simplified podcast. Simple wellness tips to help you improve your life without turning it upside down. With your host, award-winning fitness instructor, nutrition coach, and wellness expert, Susie Fevens.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not already subscribed on iTunes or Overcast or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this, I would appreciate it so much if you take a moment just to hit the subscribe button that delivers brand new episodes right to your podcast app. And if you are listening on iTunes and you haven't left a review and you enjoy this podcast, I would appreciate it so much. It really does help new listeners find podcasts when people leave reviews. So you don't even have to write anything. You can just leave a star review. If you write something, I will love you even more, but it's completely up to you. And if you enjoy listening to me and you would like to work with me on a more one-on-one individual basis, you can head over to welluniversity.ca. That is my virtual hub where you can take classes, you can do programs, you can do all of the things. You can even get coached by me. And there's a wide variety of price points, so everybody has access to something. It's very important to me that there's always access to some sort of support and coaching, which is why I continue to do this podcast, because it's like we're having a little combo, except you are replying maybe in your head or out loud, but I'm not hearing you unless you send me a message, which of course you can also do on Instagram at susie.fevens or send me an email at info@susiefevens.ca. But I digress. Let's move into this episode and your permission slip, because I've written myself a permission slip today. I've written myself a permission slip because it is cold and windy and rainy and fairly dreary out today. Today is Tuesday. It is the day when I teach 2 fitness classes. I don't generally teach 2 fitness classes, so I taught one this morning. I have another one this evening. And as it happens, last night I taught my monthly body weight class, which is quite a production getting ready for and teaching. So my body has already been through a bit of stuff this week. So this afternoon, I fortunately didn't have a huge to-do list. This podcast was one of the things I needed to get done. And I have just spent the last hour and a half or so just plunked on my couch, not doing a whole lot. I took care of a couple little odds and ends, but that's about it. And I was feeling guilty about it. Because I have it in my head, even now. I mean, I fight against this constantly. I have it in my head that if it is regular working hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, I should be doing something that is productive. Now, I have managed to take Wednesdays off as my day off for the last couple of years. I'm slowly transitioning that a little bit. I was taking Wednesdays and Friday afternoons off. My husband has Wednesdays off during the winter, but he's now gone back to having Fridays off. So Wednesdays are like my day off on my own, and I am now using that as like my creative, artistic business side, which isn't something I really talk about here, but I am diving more into my creative side, which is something you may have heard about if you listened to my episodes on how I want to feel in 2022. Anyway, so Wednesdays are sort of a work day, but it's a total change of pace because I am doing creative work as opposed to fitness wellness work. Anyway, so I am good at not feeling that I had to be super productive on my day off, except I've now made it into a different type of work day, so maybe I'm not great at it. And now I'm trying to take Friday afternoons off so I can have the time off with my husband. But on those other days, especially Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, which are my quote-unquote official work days, I feel like I should be working straight from 9 until 5, and then sometimes I'm still teaching in the evenings. And really, when you add all that up and then keep in mind that I am teaching on Friday mornings and on Saturday mornings, it's easy to see how work can just kind of turn into everything, right? So I've really been trying to exercise more boundaries about that. And I have been good about it, except that I'm adding in this creative thing, but I think that is good and that's separate from fitness. Anyway, totally off topic. We're 5 minutes into it. Let's get back let's get back on topic here. Writing a permission slip. I did write myself a permission slip today because I am sore. I don't feel particularly awesome. It is very cold and dreary. I still have a class, a high energy Zumba class that I need to teach this evening. And you know what? I have fibromyalgia. I don't talk about it a lot, and it doesn't bother me a whole lot anymore. I manage it pretty well, except on days like this when the barometric pressure has gone crazy. My whole body just aches. I just feel drug out and awful, and that's sort of how I'm feeling today. And I decided, like, this is ridiculous. Just give yourself some extra rest. Just give yourself some extra rest. And it can be really hard, especially if you're in a place as a self-employed person where you're not maybe earning as much income as you need or would like to earn. And it feels very much like the more you work, the more money you will make. And there is some reality to that, right? There is some part that is like, sometimes you have to suck it up and do stuff that you don't want to do in order to make ends meet. But there's also a point where, like, it's not going to hugely impact my bottom line whether I do a bunch of work this afternoon or if I just allow myself to rest. Where it will make a big impact is in how I feel the rest of the week and how my body feels and recovers. So financially, this is a position where it's not going to make a big difference if I take the afternoon off, but personally, physically, health-wise, it is going to make a big difference. So I've written myself that permission slip. I'm here recording this podcast, but that's probably all I'm going to do until I go to teach my class this evening. And I realize that is definitely a privilege that not everybody has. But what I hope that you can do is maybe write yourself some prescriptions. No, don't write yourself some prescriptions. You can go to jail for that. Write yourself some permission slips in areas of your life where you do have more control. So maybe it is, you know what, just letting that laundry pile up a little bit longer, or teaching someone else in your home to do the laundry. Maybe it is putting more dishes in the dishwasher. I'm astounded by the number of people who have dishwashers and still wash by hand. Like, if you want to give yourself a break, like, shove that stuff in the dishwasher and go outside. I know some people do find that washing dishes is their break, and to you, wonderful. I cannot imagine it personally, but fine, continue washing by hand. But you don't have to. You know what? Dishwashers, they do a really good job. They do a really good job. And they conserve water, actually. So, like, you're also helping the environment while giving yourself a break. And you can teach children to load and unload a dishwasher pretty easily, or so I assume. What do I know? What do I know? But I do think it's important that we both recognize that, yeah, here I am writing a permission slip for myself in my job at work. That's not something that everybody's going to be able to do. You know, if you're a cashier, you can't just say, like, I am not taking anybody for the next 3 hours. I'm sorry. I'm just going to rest instead. You would lose your job. But there are other areas in your life where maybe we can let some things go for a while. You can let the dusting go for a while. You can let the floor have the dog hair and the cat hair on it for a little while. You can let the dishes, you can let the laundry all pile up. You can teach someone else to do it. If you have the funds, you can hire someone else to do it. Figure out where in your life you can cut yourself a break, write yourself a permission slip, let go of the guilt, because we all have it, especially if you're female. We tend to have a higher guilt meter than our male counterparts, and I'm not sure why, but we do. So just see where you can write yourself a permission slip. Oh, here's a good one. Maybe you're writing a permission slip to get takeout. Again, if you can afford it. Or maybe it's convenience food. You know what? I saw in the flyer that some Superstore frozen dinners were on sale for PC members last week. And so I could get like a big frozen lasagna or macaroni and cheese and whatever else was on there for like $4.99 instead of the regular $9.99. You bet I bought one of those to have in the freezer for a day when I didn't have a lot of time or I didn't want to make something. It is okay. It is okay to do that sort of thing. Or write yourself a permission slip. Give yourself a hall pass. And stop trying to do everything all of the time. Nobody cares if your house has an extra week of dust. They really don't. Really, they don't. So, I'm going to wrap this up here so I can continue to enjoy my permission slip of, not doing much of anything for the next couple of hours, knowing that I'm going to have to be on my game come 6:30 when that class starts. But I don't have to be on my game right now. I can take some time to rest and recover, knowing that my body will be better for it in the long run. So that's my wish for you, that you write yourself a permission slip in some way, shape, or form this weekend, and that you feel a little bit better physically, mentally, emotionally because of it. That's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, my goodness, go ahead and do that. And send me a message. Let me know what you've written your permission slip for. I would love to know. info@suziefevens.ca or on Instagram @suzie.fevens. All the info is in the description, so you can find it there if you don't know how to spell my last name. That's it. Have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you next week.